Hey folks, this is Matt at Creative Discomposure. Today's video is how I took an old wrought iron decorative stool and turned it into a hanging skull display. Now this project was inspired by Twig Rot at Sinister Props, and I encourage all of you to go check out his YouTube channel. Now there are three decorative pieces that are spot welded to the stool frame, so the first thing I need to do is to cut through those welds. Remember, it's always safety first, so I am wearing goggles over my glasses so that sparks don't get past the open sides. So after trying a different tool, I finally decided that my Dremel with a metal cutting wheel would work well for this. Sorry honey, but I promise I will find a use for the new grinder I bought. So now with all three of those pieces removed from the base, it's going to be time to grind down those sharp edges, because the last thing you want to do is cut your finger on your new display. So switching over to my grinding head on my Dremel, that made short work of that project as well. So after 2 coats of flat black spray paint on each side and making sure I get the edges, it's time to make that skull. Why yes, this is a silicone baking pan for making skull cakes, but I'm going to be using it as a mold using rigid casting foam. So with the garage door open and a fan on, I'm going to spray Ultra Release enough for a really good coating. Then I'm going to mix equal amounts of part A and part B. After a complete mix of the material, I pour the foam liquid into the mold and turn it so that the upper walls are coated. Then just sit back and let it do its thing. When the recommended demold time is expired, I remove the part from the mold. Not bad for an inexpensive cake pan. So after the piece is coated in a liquid latex and completely dry, I'm using black ink to give depth to the gum line and the crack in the nasal cavity. When the ink was dry, I rubbed the latex off the teeth and pushed it up to the gum line. Now when I stained the piece with honey wood stain, the exposed foam of the teeth really absorbed the stain, and I did not like the result. So using Great Stuff spray foam, I attached the skull to the wrought iron. I'm going to use popsicle sticks to move the foam around underneath the iron and smoothing it out on the back. Now remember, this foam continues to expand when it dries, so overnight it got a little bit more round in the back than I wanted. So moving on to details, I'm going to use some cheesecloth and liquid latex to give the skull some creepy features like it's growing into the iron. In the end, I also added some natural cotton fibers with more latex for a better organic look. I also dry brushed some white on the teeth to try to give them better definition. Now paint is what's really going to make this prop. We're going to use different layers of green, yellow, and brown that are painted on and then blotted off with a paper towel. This is going to give us a lot of depth and a lot of interest. So now we're going to add eyes using an air drying clay. Just a small amount balled up and then placed into the eye sockets. The clay is shaped using a popsicle stick and a lot of patience. So after the clay dries, I don't like how white the eyes are compared to the skull, so I dull them down with a little bit of the stain. But the final step for the eyes? Pupils. And there you have it, a creepy skull wrought iron wall hanging that was inspired by Twig Rot over at Sinister Props. Well, this is Matt with Creative Discomposure. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you like it, and I hope that you subscribe to the channel. And remember, no matter what you do in life, be curious, learn, and be interesting.